All right, welcome. Today we have Michelle Doan. She's the owner of Emani, which is an organic beauty products company. She's fairly accomplished, and we're excited to get to know her a little bit more. She's been featured in Vanity Fair, the New York Times, etc. So we wanted to get her in here to share her entrepreneurial journey and talk a little bit about herself, her business, and also her experience within the Entrepreneurs Organization. So welcome, Michelle. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Robert. Thanks for having me here.
Great. So tell me, your journey started with a bold move. Your family left Vietnam in pursuit of the American dream. How did that impact your mindset as an entrepreneur?
It was definitely interesting. When I was going through it, I didn't know what it was about. It just seems like everyday life. And when we had to leave our country, and it was a very perilous journey. My mom left Vietnam with 6 children all by herself. Wow. My youngest sister was 2. My oldest brother was 16. And we were on literally a 30-meter fishing boat with 319 people.
Wow.
Okay, so 30 meters is 90 feet, but imagine it's not a cruise, it's a cruise kind of boat, but it's literally a fishing boat where all of us were sitting, shoulder to shoulder. It was very squeezed in. We couldn't carry any of our belongings. We can take like one item with us, one bag with us. And 2 people actually died during the journey.
Oh, wow.
And so we had to throw them overboard. So imagine at 9 years old, that's what I was facing, trying to leave Vietnam.
Overboard?
Yeah, because we were on this journey. We didn't know where we were going. We knew we were heading to Thailand somewhere. And so 2 people passed away. One person was really sick. The other person was just really old and really couldn't make the journey. And that gave me such a new perspective. And as a 9-year-old, some of the memories completely burn into my brain because I just remember looking at the water, and I've never seen water so deep. It was black. It's almost like this black color. And I remember putting my arm over. I can almost touch the water, meaning the load that we carry and how dangerous we were. And us going through storms, and they had to put all the women and all the children, where they would normally store the fish. And just everyone was just so sick.
How long was that journey?
A little bit over 7 days.
Wow.
With almost no water and no food.
And when was this?
This is 1979.
Well, that's amazing. And so when you came to the States, did your mom have a plan? Was there anything set up?
Oh, my goodness. So, once we left, we ended up in Thailand. And during that time, during the 70s, after the fall of Saigon and the communists took over our country, a lot of people leave Vietnam trying to escape to get to the U.S., and it was very difficult. You've seen those movies where, during the American embassy, people are trying to get on the helicopter, trying to get on the flight. It was actually really real. And so we were trying to get out of Vietnam. We end up in Thailand, but because there are so many refugees coming to Thailand that people were shooting at us. I think it was either the guards, the army, or the police. They were preventing us from docking onto their shores. So we had to wait in the dark of night to come back and try to swim onto shore, because we know that as soon as we made onto shore, they wouldn't be able to, to do anything with us, So for me, it was really interesting because I had a younger brother and a younger sister. He was 4 and my youngest sister was 2, and we couldn't swim. And so here's my mom with my 3 brothers, and my brothers were really young. And so she was running around like begging people to carry us on their backs to make it and swim us into shore.
My goodness. Well, that's an interesting journey for sure. I had no idea. I've known you for, I think, almost 4 years now, and I really didn't know any of that. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that.
Yeah. And I think it has to do with a lot of the first generation Vietnamese Americans that come to the U.S. or come anywhere, leaving the country. And I think it gives me a really new and different perspective and how great this country really is. And to be born, to be born American, I always tell my children, I said, to be born in America, you're already winning.
Sure,
Yeah.
for sure. I tell mine that too. I don't think they listen, but I definitely tell them that.
Yeah.
So were you always entrepreneurial? Tell me about kind of your childhood. Was there any entrepreneurial cues that came out of that before you got into adulthood? What was that like?
So yeah, I didn't know if there's another way besides the entrepreneur way, right? Because my mom always had a business. My grandfather had a business. Matter of fact, my grandfather had a very similar business to you. It's a lumber business in our hometown. And so our family ran lumber for a very long time. My mom actually ran a retail store, so she would have a factory sewing clothes, and she would sell clothes and cosmetics. And so that's all I know. And when I came to the U.S., went to school and everything else, but I just had this burning passion desire to do something a little bit different. And I don't think I was a really great employee. Although I worked,
I know that feeling.
although I worked really hard, it was a little bit challenging because I didn't always agree with whatever my bosses were saying. I'm like, maybe there's a better way of doing it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I feel kind of bad in hindsight. I think I ended up getting like 3 or 4 of my bosses fired over the course of my corporate journey.
Yeah.
Because I was very opinionated about how things should be.
Yeah.
But I was able to be kind of an entrepreneur
Yeah.
and get things done at work.
Yeah.
And so I kind of stole the shine without
Yeah.
even trying to do it. And I had a history of bosses disappearing. And I feel bad about that in hindsight. But
Yeah.
So tell me about Emani. So I believe that came out of a personal experience of
Yeah.
yours. Tell me, how that came about and what was kind of the passion around that.
So, I went to school for fashion, right? And, imagine like a young teen graduating fashion school, and you want to be really trendy, but I had cystic acne. And, for people who have cystic acne, you always really feel a little ugly on the inside, like your self-confidence is really being compromised. And so, but I didn't really understand it. This was like the late 80s, right? Like clean beauty didn't really exist. This is before like the internet, like there was very little information about it. And so from 16 to about 27, 28, I was at the dermatologist. And, it was such a painful experience because sometimes like it was so deep that they had to numb it and then extract it. Yeah. And so that has always been my huge pain point. But from there is when I start calling companies. I'm like, hey, how come, your products are breaking out my skin and all of these questions. And I didn't know at the time was that my pain became my passion for what I was doing. It's about asking the right questions and about finding something that's better. So
that was quite a long journey. You said 16 to 27, right?
Yeah.
So that's over a decade. So take me through kind of when light bulbs started going off and you started seeing, I hate to call it a passion project, but
yeah.
certainly you're dealing with something that's near and dear to you, right? And there must have been some aha moments or light bulbs that went off that kind of pointed you in that direction. What did that look like?
Well, it is a passion project. It's a lifestyle company because I do it. I always have a philosophy. I want to do it to continue to love what I'm doing because I think some of us as entrepreneurs, we fall out of love and we go in and out of this love with our business because it's never easy. It's never easy and it's not one path. There's many paths of getting there. And I just remember calling companies back then in the 90s. They had hypoallergenic, but products will break me out. And I went to a salon one time. This one salon, I just went to get my hair cut, and a person, an esthetician behind the counter, completely changed my life. And her name is Cheryl. And I went to see her, and she saw that I had acne, and she's like, listen, I can help you with your skin. And I said, you know what? You can't.
You tried 100 things already, right?
I tried 100 things. I went to the dermatologist. I went to all of these things, and you can't because this is what my skin does. I break out all the time. And back then, she offered me, she's like, look, I'm really good at what I do. I'm going to give you a facial for $20. This is back in 1997. And even in 97, $20 is really cheap. And I'm like, okay. So it was a really low entry for me to really come in, and getting a facial when you have acne is really difficult. Meaning that, when you think of a facial, you think of a spa environment and is really relaxed. But for people who has acne,
It's more like being at a dentist.
it's like being at a dentist, but you're being poked 100 times because I had so many clogged pores. And I would come out and my face would be red and swollen because there was so much. And she was using what they call a little lancet.
Sure.
It's a very sharp thing to extract. And what had happened was that my skin would look really great for 2 weeks. And then, of course, I would start getting these clogged pores again. My face would act again. So after 3-4 months, I'm like, listen, you're able to help me to get really good skin for a couple of weeks, but then it starts again. She's like, well, I don't know what you put on your face. That question alone really changed my mind. I'm like, changed my brain. I'm like, okay, yeah. So do you know what I can actually put on my face and not break out? And she's like, yes, I could. And I went home. The next time I gathered all my products and I brought it in. And did you know, Robert, that an average North American woman uses 12 products a day? And exposing ourselves to like hundreds and hundreds of chemicals, right? And so I brought these products into her, and she pulled out this little book, and she pulled out this sheet. I'm like, well, what is that? And she's like, this is a non-comedogenic sheet. So, and it lists all the ingredients that you found. It can be oftenly found in cosmetics and makeup and skincare that will clog your pores. Now, I never knew that this list existed. But thank God the internet now, you can go and you can check every single product.
Sure.
And that's when the light went on. And that's my pursuit of clean beauty.
Yeah, I think makeup's interesting. My wife doesn't wear a lot of makeup, and I've noticed that the older she gets, the age gap between her and her friends gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And not just from a clogged pore standpoint, but I really think all the chemicals in the makeup, I think they age you. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not a doctor by any stretch, but I have to imagine, your skin's the largest organ, and it's soaking in all of these probably toxins in many cases, and it's causing some aging and deterioration of the skin. Is that factual?
Yeah, I'm actually glad that you brought it up because right now retinoids and Retin-A and all these really harsh topical peels are really popular right now because, Americans, we love instant gratification.
Burn your skin.
And so, so basically you're removing like the top layers of your skin, but what you're also doing is that you're also thinning out the skin. And then because of the pH balance, it compromises your microbiome layers. That's what keeps your skin healthy, right? So if you are constantly using Retin-A and things that are really harsh, and then you go outside, and then you're not wearing the proper SPF, you can really damage your skin. And also, you're right, a lot of the chemicals, there's a ways that it can accelerate, but lifestyle really matters.
Smoking, drinking,
sleeping, hydration, stress level. And I think that's why managing your emotions really have an overall effect, not only on your skin, but also on your heart as well. Now, they were saying how stress, of course, is killing us, but it's also aging you.
Sure. No, it makes all right. So with your business, with Emani,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about what kind of your competitive advantages are outside of the obvious stuff you mentioned in terms of how it's really healthy for your skin. Where are you able to really compete and dominate, within your market?
Okay. So, natural cosmetics has been really popular, but women who use natural cosmetics, they don't get the results that they want because it conditions the skin. So when it comes to skincare, the three things that I'm looking for is, we call it our 3P philosophy, right? The first is potency, is the percentages that goes into a formulation. Okay. Second is penetration, that is the delivery system. And the third is proven. Has it been clinically proven to really change your skin? So when we develop skincare, that's what we really think about. We really think about what are we creating, how are we delivering the nutrients to the skin, and has it been clinically proven to really, give your skin the results that you want.
What's a particular product that you have that if your consumers watching this, it's the first time they've heard of your company, et cetera,
Yeah.
what's something they would look at and you would say, you need to try this?
I think one of our favorite products is the Sleep and Renew. About 3 to 4 years ago, we launched a Sleep and Renew. It's a waterless, right? So a lot of the skincare has a lot of water. This one has over 85% probiotics, which is a lactobacillus. And what that means is that we use a fermentation process. We partner up with a company in South Korea, and they own 13 patents to process raw materials. What that means, Robert, is that we can take larger molecules in skincare and break them down to smaller molecules. So you're looking at 200 parts per million, and we break it down to like 2,000 parts per million, making it more bioavailable.
That makes it the delivery that you call the penetration?
Yeah, the penetration,
Right.
like how is it delivering into your skin? And the concentration, the potency is like you're getting over 85% probiotics. And then we're doing papaya and we're doing apple. And what that does is it helps to turn your cell over. We put in niacinamide in it, which is also brightening. It helps with like the acne scars and things like that. And when you put it on, it doesn't feel sticky. Like a lot of the serum really feels sticky. And almost everybody can put it on and it's like, wow, my skin actually looks and feel better within like 7 days. And that's what high performance skincare really can do for you.
Great. Now, Emani came out of your personal journey with acne. Do you guys have a line for teens or any marketing that's targeted towards teens that are starting to have those issues?
Yeah. So, what we find out is that our main demographic is probably 35 and up. And it's just simply because we're not a TikTok company. So I feel like some of the younger teens, although they're very aware and they want to buy clean beauty, usually it's more price driven. Most of the demographic is price driven. Unless you have acne, then you start looking into some other cosmetics. But what we also find out is that the 35 and over have a certain needs, not just a breakout, but it's more like anti-aging now. And also hormonal changes can really affect your skin. So if you're going through perimenopause and menopause, like your skin change quite rapidly.
Do you have a latest and greatest product that's come out recently that you want to highlight?
Yeah. We are actually, at the end of September, we're launching something called Emani Glow Biome. It's a serum foundation. It's the first time that we're putting something called MNN, which is a precursor to NAD+. And then we're also loading it up with vitamins. So we're getting vitamin C, peptides, and ceramide. And then we combine it with conditioning things like avocado oil, and it's like a serum foundation. So one of the trends is that women are wearing less products, right? But we want to make sure that we tie skincare into a foundation. I'm actually wearing it now. And so you can get serum foundation and then all your skincare into one.
So, well, that's fascinating. So where can people find your products?
The best way is Emani.com. So we are a omni-channel. So we export to 14 different countries, but we sell at Emani.com. You can find Emani on Amazon as well. We're working with like Mothers, like some of the natural organic stores, and then we distribute in Canada.
And when it's exported to those 14 different countries, is it all under that brand name or is it private labeled? Or
No, it's under our same brand name. We have a warehouse in the Netherlands that support our distributors in Europe.
Is that where it's manufactured mostly?
Mostly are manufactured. Our skincare comes from South Korea, and all of our makeup actually are made in California.
Great.